Hi Jacob, so thank you for the in-depth review of last week's training. There's a few things I want to go over. I'll do another video with, I'll go outside in my lovely cold garden gym and do some sort of technique videos as well on some of the sort of intricacies. But with the one-hand deadlift, you will find it easier to find that midpoint if you do straddle the bar. Again, I'll do a video of that. We're not looking for full lockout. It is literally just to overload that thick bar hand strength. Obviously, I've done that on the assumption that you don't have a rolling handle or a thick dumbbell. If you do, I mean, that's perfect. Or even if you have fat grips that you can add to a dumbbell or something like that, that is a better way of doing the thick bar deadlifts compared to an axle. But if you only got an axle, then we'll work with that. But yeah, so we'll go straddled deadlift. So we're not pulling to full lockout. So it doesn't matter whether the bar's restricted by obviously your body. So what we're going to do is we're putting in work sets of 3, getting that technique down. We'll work up to a heavy set of 3 with grip. I don't know how much sort of Clint's been through of it with you or not, but with grip in general, it's very neural and it's very tendon based. So tendons, they, as you know, as an arm wrestler, they build and gain strength mainly from 2 ways. There's ultra high reps, which you're probably getting in with your arm wrestling practices anyway, and really heavy loads. So keeping up that 80% and above is where the majority of your grip training should be, and that's for both the reps and the holds. And obviously, again, with neural as well, you want that CNS, it's not even CNS, it's PNS, your peripheral nervous system. You want that firing, and the way to do that is, again, heavy overloads, really sort of trying to drive as much neural sort of drive into the hands. So we're going to keep the axle in. Again, if you've got a rolling handle or a dumbbell, let me know and we'll swap it out for that. So working our way down. So your pinch block table curls is a tough one because obviously when you got it set up on the cable stack, you've automatically got that pinch block trying to pull out your thumb, and it's not so much about the wrist strength or the cupping strength that we're working here. It is working that thumb. So this is just putting a more dynamic way of working your thumb as opposed to just like picking up the pinch block, which you did earlier in the session. So this is going to help with like building that thumb pad, helping you deal against an opponent's back pressure, or if they're trying to supinate your hand. Obviously, if they're coming in for a top roll, it's going to help build that tendon strength there to resist that. So it's not so much about the wrists. Obviously, you get plenty of wrist stuff in on other days as well as your practice as well. So persevere with that one. Keep it as light as you need to. It will come up. Within a couple of weeks, your thumb will be used to that position, and you will feel that you'll be able to get more wrist flexion in there. Bit of a tip: if you think about leading with your middle finger, so obviously once your elbow's set, you've got that pinch block. If you think about driving that middle finger towards your forearm, that's going to get you the most leverage in that position. So going on to day 3. Behind the back wrist curls are brilliant because they really do isolate the wrist. But obviously, if you're feeling that it's restricted with mobility and obviously the way you're built and stuff, I'm going to swap that out for something called a barbell finger crusher. It's not as scary as it sounds, but basically, again, I'll do a video of this as well so you can see it in action. But what you're going to do is you're going to set up a barbell on the rack, basically do a rack pull to lock out, and then from there, holding the bar double overhand, opening the fingers out so the barbell is rolling down into your fingertips. Then you're going to close your hand and then perform a wrist curl. So again, I'll show you a video, but you're essentially doing a dynamic crush into a wrist curl, letting it roll back. Okay, the reason we do it in the rack, A, is easier, B, is safer, because obviously you can go quite heavy with these, and the potential for it to fall out your hands is, it can happen. So if you do it in the rack, then you know it's not going to land on your legs or anything like that. We'll keep the standing EZ bar reverse curls in. So when I say 1A and 1B, obviously they're supersets. So you go straight from your barbell finger crushers to your standing reverse curls. I've taken out the EZ wrist curls, the seated ones. Again, you said about you can't supinate fully, which again I should have known. A lot of arm wrestlers can't, obviously just due to the sport. So we're going to take them out for dumbbells. So you can either do a dumbbell in each hand, or you can do one hand at a time. I'll leave that entirely up to you. Again, we're looking to go heavy with these. You can even add a slight curl. You do on a table. If that feels more natural to you, you could do a table curl. So you're pinning the arm and then doing your wrist curls there, or obviously to get a bit more range, doing off your leg. Supination and pronation. So what I had in mind for that was you'd be using either the dumbbell or a sledgehammer, and you're doing it simultaneously. So it's listed as a superset, but I should have probably been a little bit more clear. But what you're doing is, so with your sledgehammer, obviously you're pinning your elbow to the side, and what you're actually doing there is the weight, the sledgehammer is you holding it as you would do a normal sledgehammer. So the weight's on top, and you're actually supinating, resisting that supination. So obviously as the hammer comes down, the leverage is trying to obviously open up your wrist. So you're going to resist it that way, and then you're going to pronate all the way, and then again resist it at that end point. So you're going through full supination and pronation. Again, this isn't really a strength movement. Again, you're really overloading your supination and pronation with your hooking and your top roll practice. This is more for wrist health, and over time it will start breaking down the scar tissue around the elbow and the wrist, and it will give you a bit more supination and pronation. It'll give you a bit more freedom in the arm. Really good for the bicep tendon as well, really good for bulletproofing that. Front levers and rear levers look good. What we'll do is we'll stay with the sledgehammer, or again, if you want to use your loadable dumbbell, that's fine. But we'll decrease the weight, the reps on this week, and we'll look at increasing the weight. You're looking at 10 to 12 reps is probably optimum for this, unless you go into specifics. If you're still bending and stuff like that, then that's a different ball game. But yeah, so for front and rear levers, we're going to drop the reps to the 15 this week, and then the following week we're going to then look at adding weight again, go into that 10 to 12 range, and that's probably where you're going to stay. And over time, just sort of look at increasing the leverage if you're using a sledgehammer, obviously increasing the weight. And I think, just going through the plan, I think that is it. So what I'll do is I'll get the technique video recorded for the axle deadlifts and the barbell finger crushers. I'll get all that recorded. I'll probably do the same as what you've done. I'll put it up onto a YouTube channel, send you the link to that with next week's plan. Any questions, obviously just fire back at me, and I'll help as best as I can. But yeah, again, appreciate the in-depth review, and thank you. I'll send that stuff across to you today.